All right, I wanted to show you guys a new microphone capsule that I got from MicParts.com. If you're not familiar with the company, they make DIY microphone kits and capsules, ways to upgrade kind of cheaper microphones. So this is actually the MXL991 small diaphragm condenser mic. I got the kit that had the large diaphragm condenser mic and the 990 and the 991. I upgraded the capsule for the 990, but I just got the small diaphragm cardioid capsule, and I'm excited to try it out and do some A/B comparisons. Now this one just screws right onto the body of the microphone, so you don't need to solder or anything like that. It's super easy, and it makes it easy to do kind of A/B comparisons because I can put the old capsule back on and kind of try out both and compare them back to back. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to record some acoustic guitars just to show you guys how much better I think it sounds, and you guys can decide for yourselves. Okay, so now that you've had a chance to hear the difference between the two different capsules, I just wanted to visualize that difference a little bit for you with Match EQ. So this comes stock in Logic, and I'm just going to kind of capture the general tonal balance of the stock capsule and then compare that against the new capsule from MicParts as a reference. All right, so now we've captured our bass line, and I'm going to switch over to the MicParts capsule here and capture that exact same zone in the reference section. Okay, so now when I click match here, what you're going to see visualized is basically the EQ moves that I'd have to do to make the stock capsule sound like the MicParts capsule. So I'm going to click match, and here you go. I'm going to smooth it a little more so we can see it a bit more generalized. So we have a little bit of some presence peaks in between 1 and 2K, and between kind of right around like 3K or so. We have a little dip right around 8,000, and again, just above 12 kilohertz. So yeah, this is definitely what I noticed kind of listening back to the two different takes, is that the stock capsule definitely has a lot more going on in sort of the high end kind of air, and not in a way that I find particularly pleasing. It can sound a little bit harsh and a little bit, I don't know, plasticky, for lack of a better word. Another interesting thing is, a little bit of a bump in kind of the low end and the low lows. It's hard to know exactly. That might be just due to proximity. But yeah, it definitely seems like there's a bit more mid-range presence and less of kind of the nasty stuff up top. So I'm going to do the exact same thing for the steel string guitar, and we'll see if we can notice a difference there. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the steel string guitar to see if we can notice the same differences that we saw with the nylon string. So I'm going to capture our bass line first. Okay, now let's go back and capture same performance, new capsule. Or I guess technically a different performance, but tried to match it as closely as I could. All right, and now for the moment of truth. Let's see what the EQ curve looks like. All right, interesting. Okay. Yeah, we got a little bit of a difference here, especially in the high end. You can see almost kind of -5 to, maybe close to -7 or 8 dB at that kind of 8K mark there, and kind of continuing up through the high end. You can see those presence bumps a little bit, especially at 1 and 2K. A little bit less presence up at like 3 and 4K, which is interesting. A little bit different than with the nylon string guitar. And then you notice a pretty clear bump of almost 5 dB in the low end across the board. Now, I was playing a kind of dreadnought 70s Guild acoustic guitar, so it puts out a lot of low end. So this was a good test for that. And yeah, I'm super impressed. I really like the sound of the MicParts capsule. I like that it gives me a little bit more mid-range presence and less of that really plasticky, tinny high end, and even a little bit more low frequencies. I think it just makes this mic a lot more usable, but I'm curious to know what you think as well. All right, so let me know what you guys think in the comments. I personally love the sound of the new capsule. I think the high end just is a lot more usable. On acoustic guitar especially, it can get a little bit shrill above 10 kilohertz on the original capsule, but the new one is just kind of much flatter and more natural sounding. There's also a little bit more of a presence bump around 2 kilohertz and a little bit more low end as well. It's very subtle, but if you look at the frequency response charts on the MicParts website, you can also see these characteristics of the capsule. I think the next step, I'm going to actually try to build the new circuit for it as well. But honestly, the capsule, is responsible for 90% of how the microphone sounds. So even just with this upgrade, I think it just sounds so much better. But yeah, anyways, I would recommend it if you have MXL microphones like this. It's an easy way to upgrade them to sound much, much better than they do with the stock parts. And it's really easy, especially for the 991. Thanks for watching.